I'm here with Danny Granger. First of all, I got to ask you, obviously, you're coming back from an injury. How is it feeling?
It's feeling good. I'm still in the final phases of my rehab, and I'm just happy to be playing again. I tried last year and it was unsuccessful. But thankfully, we had some good doctors in Indiana, and I had a good surgeon, so I'm doing well.
Coach Vogel mentioned that you're nearly back. You needed Danny Granger of old. It being a contract year, how does this affect how you enter the season?
I don't think it really affects it. When you're in a contract year, you don't want to play with thinking that it's a contract year. I have the philosophy that if you play your game, the way you always have, be on a winning team, everything else take care of itself. So I'm here, to contribute, to get us. We want to win a championship, and we have the team to do it, and that's my foremost goal. So really, the contract year, I mean, it's there, but it's not really in my mind.
Right. And obviously, you guys came so close last year. And how painful was it to know that you couldn't contribute as far as playing on the court and watching your team succeed? And what do you think that you can bring to the table when you guys get step on the court together?
It was very painful, because I knew that I could contribute, and I just didn't have the opportunity to do it. And my knee held me back, but for the most part, I knew that I would play again and I would get healthy. And I was encouraged to see how far our team went, and I was really impressed with the level that Paul George was playing at. And I mean, he really took off to another level, and the kid can really do special things.
Now, Paul George told me during the All-Star weekend in Houston that every year he kind of works on something. Last year he worked on his ball handling and shooting. Do you know what he worked on this year?
I don't know what he worked on. Maybe he worked on his post game more. So many facets of the game that he's talented in. I think probably his post game that'll be improved this year.
And he also signed a big contract with you guys, and of course, big things are expected from him. And you coming back, the franchise player of Indiana, how are you guys going to work together to be able to achieve that goal? Like you said, your goal is to win a championship this year.
I think it's easier for us to work together because there's no friction between any of the players. We all, we've all for the most part, made a lot of money. We all at different places in our career, but we all have the same goal that we want to win. We don't care whose contract year it is. We don't care who's getting the most shots. We don't care, who's the leading scorer or whatever. We just want to win. And when you have a team like that that's unselfish and willing to give up anything to win, it's easy to play together.
Another thing that Coach Vogel and I were talking about is that you guys seem to enjoy going through playing under the radar. People always talk about the Heat. People talk about the Nets, the Knicks, so on and so forth. You guys are kind of like the San Antonio Spurs of the Eastern Conference. Not a bad team to be compared to.
It's not. It's not. We'll take being compared to San Antonio at the Eastern Conference. We built our team, which is unusually through the draft. I was drafted here. Roy was drafted here. Paul was drafted here. We had a few trades to get David and George, but for the most part, we built the team through the draft. And when you do that, it's a credit, to the heads of the organization, Larry Bird, Donnie Walsh, Kevin Pritchard, those guys who helped build this team, from the bottom up. So we'll take that comparison. We like that.
When you look at the Eastern Conference, who would you say are the top contenders aside from you guys and the Heat?
Well, aside from us in the Heat, I would say Chicago. You always got to talk about Chicago. Brooklyn obviously got a lot better. And I think a dark horse, Detroit got pretty good as well. But I think that those top four are probably us, Miami, Chicago, and Brooklyn.
Down two with
New York as well.
New York as well. Let's say you guys are down two. 3 seconds ago, who takes the last shot?
Depends on what we need, honestly. If we need a three, we're gonna be me or Paul. If we need a two, it's probably gonna be David West. So David West has been our closer for probably the last 2 to 3 years. And honestly, it depends on who's going that game. We have so many weapons. Any given night, one of us could have 30 points. So whoever really got it going, that's who coach goes to, honestly. So that's just the way it is.
With you coming back, you guys arguably have the deepest bench, perhaps even in the entire NBA. Would you say that that's definitely something that you're going to be, I guess, concentrating on this coming season?
We do have a strong bench, and I think having a strong bench is one of the most important things that you need in this league, because your starters only can do so much. They can't play the whole game, and you need the production off the bench. So I think that definitely is one of our strong points.
Now, and speaking of the bench, Luis Scola, who's been a starter pretty much his entire career, Argentina, Rockets, Phoenix Suns. Coach Vogel said he's going to be coming off the bench. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think honestly, the fact that we even have Luis, once again, is a credit to our management. They pulled that's brilliant what they pulled off to get him here. He's a starting power forward, and we got him as a backup. So really can't. We probably one of the few teams in the league that has that as a luxury, and it's awesome. He has started his whole career, and I think he's willing to embrace the role. He was traded to Indiana, and he's gonna do whatever he can to help us win.
Looking at your team, you technically have really 4 All-Stars. Yourself was an All-Star, David West was an All-Star, Hibbert was an All-Star. Last year, Paul George was an All-Star. Whose team is it, if it belongs to anybody?
It doesn't. That's the beauty of it. Obviously Paul is the up and coming star of the team. He's the youngest. He has a lot of talent. But like I said, there's three of us that's been in that position before. And signed big deals and whatnot. So I don't think you really say it's anybody's team because we not the team that's built where we have one guy that's going to take 20 shots. You know what I mean? A lot of teams have that. We don't have that. We got a team where 4 guys going to take about 12 shots apiece, 10 to 12 shots. And when you have that balance, it makes defenses, gives them a nightmare to guard you because, Paul can get it going, I can get it going, Roy can score on the post, David can score on the post, George Hill can attack can play with any point guard in the league. And when you have that luxury, it's hard to defend.
Now, also, the NBA is the NBA game is kind of evolved a little bit. And you have, let's say, the Heat. They have a lot of interchangeable parts. There's no real set positions. But you guys kind of have both. You have the bigs to match up with any bigs, and then of course you also have the interchangeable parts to match up with all the other athletic teams out there.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of teams either have size or they have speed, and amazingly we have both. We got the biggest guy in the league, Roy. He's about 7'2", probably about 280 pounds, and he's a load underneath. And, Paul's probably one of the most athletic defenders that we have. George is a great defender. I can guard the ball. David's a veteran power forward who can guard. And on the flip side, we fast. We can get up and down the court. We can run. So we can play a lot of different styles of games. We can run or we can pound it. We can play power games either way.
All right, and I got to ask you about the global games. I mean, the NBA expanding its global games now to the Philippines, where the population or I'd say the entire population are fanatics of the NBA. What are your thoughts of how the NBA brand has reached all the way here to the Philippines?
I love it. I love getting off the plane and seeing all the Filipino fans waving at you, and I think it's really special. That the game of basketball has transcended so many levels. It's gone beyond culture, beyond race. Beyond anything, and I think it just brings people together. For us to be able to come all the way from America, however many thousands of miles away, and be embraced here as if we family is pretty awesome.
Did you know how big basketball was here before coming over?
You know what? I took a trip to Indonesia. I know it's not Philippines, but similar, and it was crazy there. It was a million media and people waving at you, and you was on billboards, and it was just me and my wife. We just went over there, so. I kind of knew that in Asia they love basketball. I kind of figured it out then.
Bobito Garcia one time said that it was New York is the mecca of basketball, but he said Manila and the Philippines is the capital of hoops.
I believe it. I think everybody here loves basketball and watches basketball. So it's amazing to be here.
All right. Thank you very much, Danny, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.